Hello, it's Bishop Mark. Today is Luke chapter 17, verses 22 to 37. And it's not easy stuff. I'm reading about it and I look up in experts to see what does this mean? This, for example, the last verse is very difficult. And even the experts say, well, it could mean this, it could mean that. I think this is why you don't really see this passage in the Mass. You don't hear it on Sunday Mass because it's hard to figure out. But you and I, all of us, we are reading the entire Gospel of Luke, right? We're not skipping a thing. We're not skipping a word. So, yesterday we talked about the kingdom of God, but we talked about the kingdom of God at hand then. Right? So the kingdom of God came and it was Jesus. He was among them. But our tradition and our interpretation of Jesus, what we know is that he will come again. We used to at Mass use the phrase, Christ has died, Christ is risen, Christ will come again. And we believe in the creed, when we talk about our faith, that Christ will come again to judge the living and the dead. And Advent is all about Christ came in Nazareth. Christ comes each Christmas, and Christ will come at the end of time. So we have a tradition where Jesus has us wait for him to come again. Now, the early apostles thought it would be right away, and so they lived their life expecting Jesus to come at any moment, but he didn't come. After he rose from the dead and ascended into heaven, he did not come again. It's still going to happen. What happens, though? Jesus wants each one of us to live our lives always ready. Be ready for when he comes again. But people grow tired, and they wander off. So let's read these lines now in light of that. Then he said to his disciples, "The days will come when you will long to see one of the days of the Son of Man, but you will not see it. There will be those who will say to you, 'Look, there he is. Look, he is here.' Do not go off, do not run in pursuit. For just as lightning flashes and lights up the sky from one side to the other, so will the Son of Man be in his day." Okay. So this is one way of Jesus telling us that those people that predict his coming again, they don't know. And that's very helpful if you remember just that part of this. Because there are people that predict the end of times. It happens all the time. People think, oh, is this it? This it? Something bad happens. Oh, it must be. Well, you don't know. So live with the expectation that it will happen, but wait until you see it. Like lightning in the sky, it will be apparent. Okay, good enough for that one. Now, there's a little transition here. It says, "But first he must suffer greatly and be rejected by this generation." Okay, remember we've had a few predictions of the Passion in the Gospel. Jesus has said, "I'm going to Jerusalem, I'm going to die." And once again, he's saying this. All these things cannot happen unless I die first, which is the truth, because his rising from the dead is what is our saving grace. It's what showed us heaven. It's what assured us that there is life after death. It's what convinced the apostles that he was indeed the Messiah, the Son of God. So, right in the middle of this, predicting of the second coming, none of this stuff can happen until he suffers and dies for us. Okay. As it was in the days of Noah. Do you remember Noah? Noah was the best man, the only one that was really faithful. And so God saved him and his family, and he saved all the animals through him by building an ark. Do you remember that? Well, the rest of the people died through the flood because they were not ready. The whole generation was not ready. After the flood, God made a covenant, a sacred agreement with his people that he would never do that again. But they were just so ignoring God, everyone but Noah, that they died with surprise on their face. Jesus does not want you to be surprised when the second coming. He wants you to live with an urgency and a readiness to be with God at any time. Okay, so as it was in the days of Noah, so it will be in the days of the Son of Man. They were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, up to the day that Noah entered the ark. The flood came and destroyed them. They weren't ready for God. They did not live with an urgency. Like a lot of people in this world, they forget God. They start living for themselves. Jesus doesn't want that of us. He gives another example. Similarly, excuse me, as it was in the days of Lot, days of Lot. Now Lot was another good man saved by God, and he was outside of a very awful city, Sodom and Gomorrah, and God saved him. But the people of Sodom and Gomorrah had gone so sinful that, like the people in Noah's time, they died with surprise on their face. Similarly, if it was in the days of Lot, they were eating, drinking, buying, selling, planting, building. On the day when Lot left Sodom, fire and brimstone rained from the skies to destroy them all. That's like lava came, like a volcano or whatever destroyed it. It was just destructive, and they were surprised. So it will be on the day the Son of Man is revealed. So, like the people in Noah's time, like the people in Lot's time, that were not following God's commandments, they were not ready when Jesus came, and so they died. They died in their sins. So, Jesus says, so it'll be on the day of the Son of Man is revealed. On that day, a person who is on the housetop and whose belongings are in the house must not go down to get them. And likewise, a person in the field must not return to what was left behind. So this is the lines about when God calls, we have to go. We can't be worrying about our possessions, our money, all our things. When God calls, we have to be ready. Remember the wife of Lot. The wife of Lot was someone who was with him as he was escaping the city, but she hesitated and she too was lost. So, okay. Whoever seeks to preserve his life will lose it, but whoever loses it will save it. So, be ready to follow God. Be ready to follow God over ourselves. We don't know what's going to come. And it may not come in your lifetime, because it hasn't come for the last 2,000 years. But if God comes, be ready. Okay. I tell you, on that night, there will be two people in one bed, and one will be taken, the other left. There will be two women grinding meal together, one will be taken, the other left. This is about our husband or wife, or our work person cannot save us. Because when it comes to your salvation and my salvation, it's about our following God. Even though we have relationships on this earth and we'll be together with people in heaven, when we meet God, when we die or at the end of the world, it's just between you and God. The person you work with cannot save you. The person you live with cannot save you. It's just you and God. So we have to be good, our very selves. Now this last line is Well, you'll hear it. They said to him in reply, "Where, Lord?" He said to them, "Where the body is, there also vultures will gather." Wow, what an image. So you could say where the corpse is. So vultures eat off dead animals, so you might have seen them. Even in the cartoons, you've seen them. They circle over whatever is dead and they come down. Now that could mean many things. And the commentators, the people I've read, they have many meanings. I think the best one, the one that gives me the most information, is that there are signs in nature. And one of those signs in nature, if you see these big birds in the sky going around, you know that there's some kind of dead squirrel or something that they're going to get, that they're going to eat, but they circle around. So when when you see the signs that are certain, you'll know. Now I know that's not satisfactory, and maybe you can read, there's some people that say that it's not vultures, but it's eagles, and it refers to the Roman armies. There's some people that say that it's something to do with the destruction of the temple after Jesus died. There's all sorts of theories on that. But I think the one that stands out is that some signs are certain. Like vultures going around, there's something underneath that they're looking for. Okay, we'll leave it at that. And that will leave chapter 17, not an easy chapter. Not an easy chapter at all. We'll go on to 18 next time. Peace to you. Bye now.